All right, while we wait for final participants to join, please share in the chat what's your favorite way to unwind after work. All right, we'll take one more minute and then get going. Welcome, Williams Otter AI. We've got many Otter AIs joining who were allowed to be let in. That's okay. We'll welcome them. All right. We're gonna get going now. I'm actually gonna, all of you see me, I'm gonna turn off my video to help with connectivity for anyone who might not have good internet. And so I'll ask everyone else to turn off their video too. Sarah, Ed, I'm so excited to see this big group with you. So thank you all for being here. This might be our most attended all hands. We're breaking 100 with some group calls, so this is very exciting. So today the plan is to start the call with a brief overview of our strategy and our 2023 priorities, as well as some new initiatives that we're undertaking to support this growth. Next, we'll hear from colleagues for a product spotlight, as well as how one of our cultural tenets, which have been revamped recently, is playing out in practice. And lastly, we close with an Ask Boris Anything session. So that's the plan for today. And so whenever we talk about vision or strategy or plans, I always like to start with our purpose and long-term vision, because that's what guides everything. So as many of you know, Africa's population is rapidly growing. I came across this stat recently that really spoke to that growth. By 2035, Africa is projected to add more young people to the global workforce than the rest of the world combined, which is big. That's 10 million youth entering the workforce each year. And I think that could be both an opportunity and a challenge. And I believe the continent is full of potential, but we know that many youth are not currently given access to the skills and opportunities to succeed. And so that's where we come in as Educate. Since we launched in schools in Uganda in 2009, our purpose has been to prepare these young people with the skills for today's economy. And our long-term vision is to design solutions that measurably impact millions of youth across Africa each year. So we're really trying to build solutions that can meaningfully reach a large portion of the 10 million youth that enter the workforce each year. And today, I believe we're driving fiercely towards this goal. In November of last year, we rolled out our bold new strategic plan for 2025, which as part of this plan, we're hoping to impact over 400,000 new youth across East Africa and increase our annual reach 4x from 46,000 to 188,000 youth measurably impacted per year, meaning that we have evidence or building evidence of impact on those youth. This plan has a few parts, but primarily it's based on continuing to operate the Educate experience at scale in Uganda, going national in Rwanda, and working on expanding our education system solutions work in Kenya and Tanzania, and 3, building boot camps for out-of-school youth. On our February all hands call, we rolled out 4 key strategic priorities for 2023 that would serve as stepping stones towards this strategic plan. These priorities are grounded in our commitment to impact, scale, and sustainability. The first priority area was scaling our impact. This year, we want to invest in growing the models we already have evidence for in Uganda and Rwanda, including returning to scale in Uganda, reaching 30,000 youth, and positioning our education system solutions work, or ESS, for nationwide scale in Rwanda. And if we look at where we are mid-year, I think we're very much achieving this. In Uganda, we enrolled almost 35,000 youth at the start of the year across 500 plus schools. In Rwanda, we are in 221 new schools and gearing up for national scale up very soon. So big congrats to both those teams. A second key priority for 2023 was laying the foundation for future education system solutions, or ESS, growth this next year. In Kenya, the CSL team is working hard to integrate our ESS design standards into the national curriculum. We've been working alongside the government to co-design teacher handbooks and manuals, as well as draft assessment guidelines. So thank you for the team there continuing to push forward. In addition, a tremendous amount of progress has been made in Tanzania. There, we've been working towards the creation of a new business studies subject that would be required for every youth in the first 4 years of secondary, which is almost 2 million youth. 2 million youth. About 500,000, I would guess, of the 10 million that enter the workforce each year, so 5%. There, the team has been pushing this forward at lightning speed ever since the key officials working on the reform visited our work in Rwanda in November of last year and were inspired. And we've signed an MOU with the Tanzania Institute of Education to help develop, test, and roll out this new business studies subject, which is a new subject that they got an inspiration for after seeing our work in Rwanda, which the president of the country has approved. We've also formed a working group to support the rollout of this subject with key actors, including the National Examinations Council of Tanzania. The team recently ran a master trainers workshop as well as teacher training workshop. And right now we're testing an iteration of the proposed business studies teacher orientation framework, including the business studies teachers training guide, and engaging with the government around how to develop a national project-based assessment framework. There's a lot happening here, but I wanted to share a quick update for now to celebrate the team's accomplishments. We'll have the team in Tanzania give more detail about this work on the next all hands call. So third, in addition to scaling our proven products, and actually I should say the Tanzania effort, before I move on, has been a big team effort, very much an all hands on deck. And so I want to congratulate the team and just thank you for the modeling of one team shown by everyone here to really rally to make this work happen when I know we all have been stretched, but I think it's been a really great model of us rallying together to achieve our organizational goal, irrespective of our individual or team priorities. So thank you for modeling the one team culture there. So as I said, moving on, in addition to scaling our proven products, we also want to validate our newer out-of-school youth products for growth. And so far in Uganda, we've been working to understand the feasibility of a residential model, which is new territory for us. We successfully ran a full pilot in May, which was an incredible feat by that team, and working to still learning way forward. In Kenya, we also ran a successful Skill Up Bootcamp in March. We're now thinking through how we can best begin to scale Skill Up to serve even more youth. Really excited about the progress and potential there. We've made overall a tremendous amount of progress in both in Uganda and Kenya in building boot camps targeting rural girls and young women since we began this work in 2021. And I know there's much more to come. And lastly, our final priority was to continue building a game-changing organization, which is essential for achieving our impact and scale goals. This looks like integrating new leaders into the organization, improving our product-led org design systems, and strengthening our product and country teams' work through capacity building, coaching, and process improvements. We've made or are making strategic investments across all these areas, all which I think boost our future impact potential. So that's a quick update on our 2023 priorities and where we are. And so to finish up my section, related to this growth, we've also recognized the need to update our systems and policies to support our impact growth. As part of our youth first impact obsessed cultural tenet, we never want to forget that educate exists to impact youth. That also means that we seek to protect youth and do no harm. And as we've grown our work with out-of-school youth, we're recognizing more and more the vulnerabilities of the youth we're working with. And it's really critical we ensure they're protected while they're participating in the activities and the experiences we create for them. To meet this need, we're taking steps to strengthen our child protection and safeguarding policies with the aim of embedding a culture of safeguarding across the organization. We've already launched this process in Kenya, and we'll be sharing more soon about plans to launch across the rest of the organization. So please keep an eye out. Continuously investing in our people and processes is so important as we grow, and I'm excited to see us take on these new initiatives that will support Educate's move to really be a large-scale game-changing organization, which we're quickly en route towards. So with that, we'll spend more time reflecting on our progress at the end of the year, but I'm proud to say that I think we're making big strides, as we always do. We're continuing to exceed expectations, and I'm really proud of the collective effort of this team.
So
I want to pause here since this was a lot of information and just take a moment to celebrate and acknowledge how far we've come. I know we've done a little bit in the chat, but we want to celebrate how far we've come in the first half of the year. And so if you have one takeaway, reflection, reaction, please share in the chat. I'll give a minute for that. See some great celebrations for Team Tanzania. So thank you for everyone who shared that. If anyone has anything else they'd like to share, please share in the chat. Yes, using our new Zoom emojis. Thank you, Zoom. All right. Thank you, everyone. So as those still come in, now that we've checked in the priorities for the year, I want to call in one of our leaders in Rwanda, Sam, to share, and one of our leaders currently based in Rwanda, is also a global leader, to share a more in-depth update on one of our key priority areas in Rwanda, which is to reform our national assessment practice, the national assessment practices. So Sam, cool. Pass it off to you. Maybe introduce yourself more fully and then jump in.
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Thank you, Boris, and hello, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sam, and I'm Educate's Acting Director of Tech. Today, I'm going to share with you some details around the exciting product we are building in Rwanda called Kamis, which is core to Educate's efforts to build a sustainable product. So to provide some background, I'll start with a quick recap of our ESS strategy for those who aren't as familiar. When we partner with governments to integrate a single subject into the education system, we typically leverage a three-step approach. So this approach includes policy reform, teacher training, and the integration of sustainability structures towards ensuring impact lasts in the long term. So in Rwanda, we have worked alongside the government to design the entrepreneurship subject. This is one step, which we have achieved. So in step 2, we support teachers' uptake of this new curriculum through Educate's Exchange, our 2-year teacher training model. We aim to scale this model nationwide to all schools across the country by the close of this year. However, we know that just reforming the curriculum and providing teacher training doesn't necessarily guarantee long-lasting change. So we also think about how to build structures that incentivize long-term sustainability, and that's step 3. In Rwanda, a key indicator of success at the student, teacher, school, and system level is how students perform in exams. And I think this is across all countries, typically. But because these exams are knowledge-based, teachers often resort to lecture-based learning that promotes rote memorization rather than practical hands-on experiences that actually help youth build skills for the labor market. So in response, we worked with Rwanda's government to build a new platform called CAMIS, or the Comprehensive Assessment Management Information System. Very mouthy, but to go back to our 3-step strategy, CAMIS is an example of a sustainability structure integrated in step 3 that can help sustain that long-term impact. So what really is CAMIS? CAMIS is a tech-enabled system that allows teachers to access a bank of critical thinking questions for exams, to create assessments, as well as monitor students' progress over time. So the system enables educators to upload learners' continuous assessment scores to a central system. This includes projects, which then contribute to the student's national exam score. So this facilitates a shift on the national exam from a high-stakes exam to an exam that includes project scores from throughout the student's academic year. So in terms of progress, CAMIS was rolled out nationally in December, and I've included a few numbers to help us paint a picture of how it's being used so far in Rwanda. As you can see, it's gaining a lot of traction. My most impressive number is that we have over 113 million marks on CAMIS right now. And recently, the government even utilized the system to roll out end-of-term exams. We were quite nervous for the rollout at first, but very pleased that the process went smoothly and stood the test. And we were really excited to learn that head teachers who utilized CAMIS during the exams were really impressed with the efficiency of that exam distribution. And the Prime Minister even praised CAMIS for reducing instances of exam leakage in a recent speech. Overall, our goal for CAMIS is to create an accessible platform that lessens the workload of teachers and allows them to better respond to students' needs in real time at the national level. CAMIS will allow education officials to identify learning challenges and introduce measures to enhance teaching practices. So as we look to the future, we're looking forward to working closely with government partners to continue development of the system to ensure that it actually delivers value and is a sustainable long-term solution. If you'd like to learn more, we'll drop a link in the chat to a recent blog the team put together on the platform. Now pass it back to you, Boris. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. Really exciting progress. So I appreciate you sharing, and excited to see what's to come. So since we've been talking a lot about how to scale our culture as we grow, I want to take a moment to highlight how one of our cultural tenets is playing out in practice. So I want to ask Dorothy to share her experience. Dorothy is in the field today and wasn't sure she'd have the best internet connection to speak live, so she shared a recording that we'll play for you all today.
Thank you so much, Boris. I'm excited to share more about this tenet, what it means to me, and how I have seen it play out in practice. My name is Dorothy Nambiru, and I work with Uzi as a program manager. So when someone talks about youth first, impact obsessed, three words pop up. One is passion, the other is potential, and transformation. I believe that when you are passionate about supporting the young people, you will do everything in your power to build their potential, to channel resources that will then lead to transformation in their lives. I also believe that the youth can do anything that they set their minds to if they only have a strong believer, if they have a support system. So unfortunately, most of the youth that we do invite in the boot camps lack that support system even within their families. And so Educate is that strong believer that says, you know what, despite of the mistakes that you made, what matters is being able to move forward. And so for me, even on that bad day, not a good day, you feel like you need to get some 5 minutes to jump out of bed, I am motivated by power that I have as a manager to support the team, to empower the youth and be a part of that team that is building a beautiful product that will measurably impact the lives of so many young people. Some, of course, we may have a chance to meet in person, or some may not actually get a chance to meet. But please allow me to share this beautiful impact story that I so recall very vividly. So in early 2017, I remember I boarded a taxi in the Old Tax Park, and there was a gentleman seated right behind me. So this gentleman was called Jackson. Jackson tapped my back. I looked back. I was curious to know who that person was. And it's like, "Are you Madame Dorothy?" I said, "Yes, I am Madame Dorothy." And I asked him, "How did you know my name?" And he said, "Well, I recall you came to my school at Mackay Memorial and spoke to us one evening. My life was transformed. I took my studies a lot more seriously. I finished university." I saw that spark in his eyes when he said, "I finished university." And he told me about his art gallery. Well, the pictures, pulled out his phone to show me some of the pictures, the portraits, and how much he was selling each. I also recall he told me that, "You know what, I managed to put some money aside and invested in a piece of land." I had that he was really very optimistic about the future. And he was also very curious to know, how is the program running? Are you still at Mackay? What do the youth think about the program? He was curious to know if other youth are still actually benefiting from the program. I was really happy about the life that Jackson had actually made for himself. So I want to say that it doesn't matter what department you're in at Educate, whether you are in the finance department, admin department, Uzi department, EXP department. What really matters is that we are doing an incredible job and we're achieving something way bigger than any of us. So each day you sit down to work on a task, ask yourself, how is this impacting the lives of the young people? And if the answer is yes, trust me, you will be motivated to do everything in your power to exceed at your task. And so additionally, as I conclude, I want to speak about the Uzi program when it comes to co-creation. So we have moments where we co-create with Uzi, more specifically during recruitment. So before we roll out the recruitment message to the recruiters, first we get a number of youth to validate our message and let us know if the value proposition is standing out, if there's some changes we need to make to the message. They let us know what they would love to hear and everything else. And so we're able to capture that feedback and modify that message right before we share it with the recruiters. And once we share it with the recruiters, then they go ahead to use that same message throughout the recruitment process. I also want to speak about, the intentional steps that we take to build relationships with Uzi, through some of the unspoken moments like mentorship sessions at the bootcamp, where they're able to open up and share experiences, the journey that they have taken with their coaches and the trainers. And also in the gratitude circles where they express themselves, they let us know what was beautiful about their day, what went well, what didn't go well, and what they need us to change, right? And so we get back together in stand-up meeting to reflect on the feedback and work on those issues as quick as possible to make sure that the youth have, well, an enjoyable and a transformative experience throughout the bootcamp. Well, I hope that this was inspiring. I love all the culture tenets, right? But well, this one really stands out to me personally because I do believe that we are doing what we're doing because the youth are the most important people, well, to our products and entirely to our organization. So I really want to thank Boris and the entire team for giving me an opportunity to share what the Youth First Impact Obsessed Culture Tenant means to me, and I hope I have been able to inspire you all. I wish you a very good day for those that are just starting their day, and a wonderful evening for those that are concluding with their day. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and back to you, Boris.
Thank you so much. Dorothy, that was incredible. I don't know if you're still actually calling in, but the Zoom chat is blowing up with enthusiasm, and as is my heart. So thank you so much for sharing that. You definitely embody educate culture to the fullest. So thank you, and the chat continues to blow up. We're getting to the final section of the call where I want to answer the latest Ask Boris Anything questions. We had a lot of questions, so tried to batch or combine some, specifically those around vision or long-term. And sorry if we didn't get to your question. We'll try our best to get to it next time. So the first question is, what keeps Educate motivated, and what is the dream picture of the organization in the next 10 years. And so I'll maybe speak to my own perspective on this. I think we all probably have different answers for this. I think three things keep me, and I think to some extent, Educate motivated. One is, I think, how bad the international development industry is at serving youth and giving them genuine solutions to the challenges they face. I really believe youth deserve so much better, and it's an injustice how much money is wasted right now. I think in front of our eyes, that is meant to really impact youth in a transformational way. The second is how much more potential for growth and impact we as educates have. I think this is based on our ability to create more impact for youth than anyone else, which I think we see for ourselves, and I think we have lots of evidence to support. And I think that impact is driven through our product-led approach to really iteratively, based off youth feedback, build very scalable solutions for them. I generally believe we can get to millions and see signs of that, and that we are well en route to getting to 188,000 youth served reached each year, as we have in our strategic plan. And third is our culture. I think that's the way we get to these goals, and I think I am constantly inspired by the culture and leaders here, including Dorothy. And I'd say the dream picture in the next 10 years is us approaching, we're getting really close to 1 million youth measurably impacted, growing 5 to 10 times our current size, and really expanding the way we go about building solutions for youth to solve other related problems. Ultimately, I see us growing impact in the next 10 years, many-fold, many times, and our way of working increasingly getting recognized. So the next question is geared towards Uganda, but I think it's a very important one to discuss as a team. The question asks about how do we think about youth leader salary and potential to increase them? And so this is a question we've been looking into both in Uganda and Rwanda. In Rwanda, we did not make increases to youth leader salaries last year, but at the end of 2022, but we did make a change very recently that will take effect next month as part of our bigger scale up. And in Uganda, we successfully raised youth leader salaries in 2022, and we are committed to further examination of this question kind of moving forward. So thank you for that question. Another question is, where do you see Uzi, out of school youth, and in Uganda and Skill Up in the next 1 to 3 years? And so with Skill Up, it's in efficiency stage, meaning that we're beginning to scale it and learning about how to best do that effectively. Over the next 3 years, we want to figure out the best way to scale the model and begin to serve a larger number of youth. I think getting eventually to hopefully within 3 years to 10,000 youth served per year. With Uzi in Uganda, it's currently in validation stage, meaning we're experimenting with different model design delivery structures that can create meaningful impact. Over the next 1 to 3 years, the goal is to figure out the best model to scale the original seed results, which is what is informing our Uzi strategy in Uganda in particular, and begin to grow it. Our overall vision is to really create alternative pathways to employment for the millions of youth left out of secondary. And both Uzi in Uganda and Skill Up are really building towards that. The next question is, what progress has been made so far on securing any big bet partnerships? Big bets we define as bilateral institutions like USAID, multilaterals like World Bank and UNICEF, and major foundations like Gates Foundation. And this is an important part of our strategy moving forward, to add revenue on top of the many foundations that support us. And so our big bet team has been working hard to build a pipeline of big bet partners that are potential payers for our Uzi products, as well as other Educate products such as EXP. We currently have 6 live deals that we are engaging on and working to move forward now. But what's most exciting here is that we've just closed one of those deals with the Children's Investment Fund Foundation, also known as CIF. This partnership will support our work building with Skill Up, building out-of-school youth boot camps in Kenya, focusing on rural girls and young women. We are also at the final stages and have even announced publicly, I believe with the president of Kenya, a partnership with Generation Unlimited and UNICEF in Kenya. So we're very close on a second one. The CIF partnership took about a year to close, so it's clear these deals take time. We started engaging with them 2 years ago, but it was a great learning experience, and I think we did a great job persevering and are learning a lot. So final 2 questions. It's a more personal one. Some of you know I'm moving to Kenya very soon, and so the question is, when are you moving to Kenya, and which part of the move are you most excited about? So my family and I are actually moving to Kenya in 10 days. So it's a bit of a crazy time as we prepare for this move. I'm so excited, and I'm really excited about the move. I'm really excited to be living and working in the same region as many of you. I think I'm really personally thrilled to be closer to the work, the culture, and the team. I've wanted this since we first really started expanding in 2016, and really grateful that it's happening. So yes, very excited, and busy times over here. A related question is, does your move to Kenya make Kenya the HQ for Educate operations? Why Kenya and not other countries? And so my view for many years has that Educate doesn't have a formal headquarters, but that we consider East Africa as our organizational base. So I haven't considered the US as our hub for a long time. I think we only have 7 people here. And so I think East Africa is really the center of Educate. And personally, I've been wanting to move to the region for some time. And my wife and I finally decided on Kenya because it's the hub of activity in our industry. So there are many gatherings there, and the most logical place for me to travel from. So I'm really looking forward to working and living closer with all of you, including those in other parts of East Africa. And so with that, I'm gonna end our call. Thank you for your time and calling in today. Thank you for everyone who participated. Thank you for all the messages on the chat. And special thanks to Sam and Dorothy for sharing with us. It was really inspiring. I hope you all have a great rest of the week, and please feel free to share feedback in the survey that we'll share after the call. As always, please come off mute and turn on your video to say goodbye.
Thanks, Boris. Thanks, Dorothy. Thanks, Sam. Everyone have a good
Thanks,
one.
Boris.
Bye.
Bye.
Come on, bye.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye, Boris. Bye, team.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Boris. Bye.
In this.
Bye, everyone.
You want to say that?